Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to jump onto the bandwagon and complete the mid-year book freakout tag, whatever the title of that tag is. I'm not sure I've done it every year, but I have done it many years. So question number one is, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? And for me, that is gonna be actually the very first book that I finished in January, and that is Joy in Christ's Presence by Charles Spurgeon. The dogs, as soon as I start talking, the dogs like come over because they're like, what's going on? So sorry for the jingling and jangling around me, but this is still my favorite book that I've read so far this year. And to me, it's because it has staying power and application to my life as a Christian, and it's just beautiful writing. It brought me to tears and even helped me like work out some things in my heart that I wasn't super aware that were there, but this book like kind of just like helped me with them. So I'm not gonna go too much into that, but yeah, just a beautiful book. Horrible cover, absolutely the ugliest book that I own. Why? This is a terrible cover. I hate it so much. So if I ever have an opportunity to have a better looking cover, I will pick it up because this is atrocious. Why are there like four different fonts happening, and like what is with this? Has nothing, this lady has nothing to do with what this book is about, like absolutely nothing. So yeah, super weird choice of this publisher, Whitaker House. Just why? But yeah, best book I've read. Best book, worst cover. That's not a question, but now it is. Worst cover of the year. Yes. So number two, best sequel that you've read so far this year. So the only sequels that I have read are rereads. I have not read any new to me sequels, but I have been doing a ton of rereading favorite series and things, and so I mean, I don't think I didn't pull it out, but I don't think I can top anything above The Lord of the Rings. So I reread The Two Towers and Return of the King this year, and absolutely love rereading these every time. And I actually did them differently than I have before. I did the audio. So I listened to the audio this time around from Andy Serkis and had a great time listening to them. And I think Return of the King hit harder on audio somehow. It was just enthralling. So yeah, favorite sequels were a reread. And then also I have to, completely not really in the same category of quality, but definitely high enjoyment was rereading Breaking Dawn. Christy, my friend Christy, and I have been in the process of rereading the Twilight series, and we finished up with Breaking Dawn. I have not read Midnight Sun, and I still need to. She has, and I have not. But I did reread the original quartet, and so that was just so fun. And it's not going to be fun for everyone. These books are not going to be fun unless you were there in the 2000s and you were part of the hype. And so revisiting these books was just the most fun. But like, no, I wouldn't just like recommend you pick it up unless you have like a true interest in Twilight. But like, if you read them a long time ago and you want to reread them, they're still fun. So yeah, just like the dumbest like popcorn read, but super compelling story, compelling writing. Like, honestly, give Stephenie Meyer credit where credit's due. Like, she knows how to tell a gripping story, and I just had so much fun with this. Question number three is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. And so I think I'm gonna go with the one that I'm still most interested in at this point, even after the hype has kind of died down, the internet hype, if you will, is The Women by Kristen Hanna. It's been a minute since I've read a Kristen Hanna book. I think I've read a couple, and it's been a while. So I would love to pick up what she's written recently. I've heard great things about The Women, and it's a historical fiction set in the Vietnam War. And so I have not read really any historical fiction before set in that time period, so that's very intriguing to me. So I would love to read this before the year is over. Question number 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And if you know me at all, or you're familiar with this channel, you probably know the number 1 is going to be Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. I cannot wait for this book to come out, and I'm at the same time just so scared to read it, but so excited for this. And I am currently trying to reread the Stormlight Archives, which is not going well for me right now. I'm like so slow. I've been going through them so slowly, and I really need to pick up the pace if I'm gonna reread all 4 by December. So I have hope still that I can do it, but I'm probably I have not been using audio for it, and I need to, I think, in order to make it by December. So yeah, as much as I would love to just read them all physically, I just don't think I have the time for that. As most people don't, because they're so long. So yeah, that is my main goal reading project: reread the Stormlight Archives, all 4 books, so that I'm all caught up and ready for Wind and Truth. So yeah, that's my answer for that one. Question number 5 is the biggest disappointment. And honestly, I haven't had anything that was like truly awful, which I'm thankful for. I haven't had any books that I completely hated. But one that definitely fell flat for me, it's kind of like a mild disappointment, is Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I kind of felt like Catherine Center might be an author that I would love, just based on my interest in her books and the premise of her books. I was hyped about this one because it has a really interesting premise that I've never seen before for a romance novel, and I just did not like the characters. I think was my main problem with it. I didn't like the characters. I didn't there was a little bit too much like suspension of disbelief in the plot, dynamics between the characters that didn't feel very well written. So yeah, this was not a win for me. But I will try Catherine Center again. I have another book by her. I think How to Walk Away. So I'll try that one, and I'll see before I give up on Catherine Center. But this one was a bit of a letdown, just because I thought I would like this author more and found it to just be a little bit clunky. Number 6 is the biggest surprise of the year, and I'm gonna give that award to The Bullet Swallower by Elizabeth Gonzalez James. The reason this is a surprise for me is because I'm not well read in Westerns at all. I can't even really remember the last Western that I've read. If I have read one, it's been a really long time, and I can't even recall. And it was probably for school or something, you know. So The Bullet Swallower came out of left field for me, and it was so good. I highly recommend this book if you like a Western setting, but even if you're like me and you're not super familiar, this is a great story with really well-written, strong characters and good writing. This author has chops. So I really enjoyed the prose of this. There's a magical realism aspect to this as well, and so she's kind of going a little bit for that vibe, Western plus magical realism. I loved it. I loved what this book did. I loved the ideas it explores, and it does follow an anti-hero, so a bit of an unlikable character to follow, but for me it really worked. And I love a good unlikable character if it's done right, and I just felt like this was. The only thing I didn't like was the epilogue. I thought the epilogue kind of made it a little bit cheesy in the end, but if I'm just going to pretend the epilogue wasn't there, I didn't feel like the epilogue needed to be there. I thought it could have ended where it did, and loved this. It's a bit of a family saga, so following different generations and like a curse on a family, and it was so good. Yeah, this is a big surprise for me. It was a 5-star book, and I just picked it up really randomly through Book of the Month. So this was a huge win for me. Question number 7 is a favorite new to you author. Again, I am going to explore her other books because I really liked her writing, so I can tell I'm gonna like other stuff by her. So going to explore Elizabeth Gonzalez James more. Other authors new to me, I did read, let's see, I just have like a messy pile of books here, so forgive me if I keep looking down at them trying to find things, but I have read Shannon Chakraborty now for the first time, and I read this, which is the beginning of a new series for her, and the second book is not out yet. I really enjoyed and had a fun time with this. Not my favorite fantasy ever, but I thought it was well crafted. The relationship dynamics between the characters were a real strong point. The main character was a real strong point. The it's Pirates of the Caribbean, but with like a female older protagonist, and it was really fun. It had some surprises along the way. There was a point in the book where I felt like we kind of explored this other area of the world that I didn't feel like tied in super well yet in this book, but maybe it's gonna tie in more as we go. Surprisingly dark as well, like some body horror even in this, which was unexpected. But yeah, I really enjoyed where this book took me. It was an adventure, it was a ride. I know that she has a really popular series that starts with The City of Brass. I have not read that yet, but I do plan to. So I will explore more Shannon Chakraborty. Yeah, just really, really fun, swashbuckling first installment in a fantasy novel. So I will continue in the series as well. Another author I want to shout out is Louise Perry, because I listened to The Case Against the Sexual Revolution by Louise Perry, and this was great. It was so interesting, and definitely recommend it. I was recommended this from Christy Lewis Dostoevsky in Space, and while it was definitely not a book I probably would have just picked up on my own, Christy has just raved about it, and so I gave it a try. She actually gifted it to me on Audible, so thank you, Christy, for that. I'm so glad that I listened to it because it was so fascinating, and just the conclusions that she comes to were, I just really agreed with a lot of them, and what she explores and the research she's done on this topic was really well done. So I would be curious to see what else Louise Perry puts out. I actually don't know what else she has out, but I should look into it because I thought this was very well researched, well communicated, a solid nonfiction read. So do recommend. Question number 8 is your newest fictional crush, which is a question that I take very lightly. I don't really have any books where I had a new crush, I don't think, this year. It's just kind of not the kind of books that I've been reading, other than like Twilight. But I don't particularly crush on Edward. So not that anything's wrong with Edward. Look, I like Edward, but I'm just not that kind of reader, you know? I don't obsess about fictional crushes, but I go into a reread again. Oh yeah, I did take it down. I reread Mistborn. I'm in the process of rereading Era 1 so that I can continue and read Era 2. And Elend was, just because I knew the character already from my first time around with these, I think Elend is just like the sweetest cinnamon roll, and he would be my crush. I mean, we're gonna say Elend from Mistborn. Question number 8 is a new favorite character, and I'm gonna go to a book that I haven't mentioned yet, and I'm gonna bring up Shark Teeth by Sherry Winston. The main character, her name is Sharkita, and she is a young lady who is sort of in and out of the foster system. So this is a middle grade book that explores the life of a young child and her siblings, and her experience with the foster system and how it kind of works out for her. And Sharkita was just such a well-drawn character. I didn't really know much about this going in, but was very hooked very quickly. And a big part of that is Sharkita and just how well written she is. And we are kind of in her head a lot. And I thought it was really cool what the author did with Sharkita, and the perspective that we got of like how this looks through her eyes, and how she experiences her family and the foster system, and how she experiences school and the world. And yeah, it was really good. This is also maybe a category for biggest surprise. I think I could put Shark Teeth in there as well. So Shark Teeth was great, and Sharkita is a wonderful protagonist. Question number 10 is books that made you cry. And I honestly don't know if I have any super tearjerker books, but I think this book, Shark Teeth, will definitely pull on your heartstrings, and it did on mine. I don't remember if I cried per se. I don't think I did, but it's definitely an emotional read. So Shark Teeth could be a contender for that. And I think a book that did actually make me cry in its application to my life and like personal hard hitting was probably Joy in Christ's Presence. And again, it was so long ago, I don't actually remember crying, but I might have gotten misty-eyed. So I don't typically cry in books. I think it's a little bit hard to cry while reading a book. At least it has been for me in the past. So every once in a while. So yeah, that's my answer for those. I think those two are more emotional for me. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy. And for that, I'm going to mention a couple books that have not been mentioned yet. And so I pull them out. I reread, again with the rereads, so many rereads this year. I reread Redwall, and I had not read this since childhood. So it was almost like brand new to me just because it's been so long, but loved Redwall. Definitely made me happy. The characters, the charming animals, and the adventure, the sparrows, lots of humor in this book. And just like a good old-fashioned like good versus evil, good guy wins time with cute little animals. Like what more do you want in life, really? I need to continue my reread of the series. I think when I was a kid I read the first two, but I never continued after that, so I need to go on to the second one. But yeah, Redwall made me happy. Matthias is Matthias is the main character, is a character that makes you happy because he's just so bold and noble and sweet. And yeah, it's just such a fun time with these books. And then also for the first time I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, which is a very fun romp and did make me happy as well. Lots of humor, very like British humor. So a little bit oddball British humor, I would say. So I will continue with this series as well. I need to do that before I forget things. So yeah, really had a good time with those more lighthearted reads. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book that you've acquired this year, and that easily goes to my special edition of The Hobbit. I don't remember if I had gotten, I have also the Lord of the Rings special edition in the same edition, but I can't remember if I got that at the end of last year or the beginning of this year. So I know I got this year. So we're gonna go with The Hobbit. This is just such a lovely edition of The Hobbit, inside and out. The edges are super cool, sprayed edges, and then with the symboling here. And yeah, it also is illustrated version, so it's got some exciting things. It's got a map, comes with a map inside as well, and illustrations by Tolkien himself. So just lovely, and like color illustrations. So wonderful editions of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And I think they have one for the Silmarillion too. I need to get it if it does exist. So yeah, love this edition. Definitely the prettiest book that I've bought all year. I pulled down a few others as just like some new release covers that I thought were really cool, and I honestly picked these books up just for the covers. So these were cover buys, both from Book of the Month. So the only thing is they have the Book of the Month sticker in the corner, which, you know, I don't love. I kind of wish they wouldn't do that. I don't mind it on the side, but I wish they wouldn't do it here, but they do. That's just what you get. So Dragon Fruit by Makia Lucier. I almost said Lucifer. No, Lucier. And what a cool cover. It has a lot going on. So it does like overwhelm the senses a little bit at first. And then as you look closer, you're kind of like picking out things, and then you notice there's like a little bat right there, and he's really cute. So yeah, a cool cover, and it spills onto the back, which I always like it when books do that, but it's a lot going on. And then also a stunning cover I thought was The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. I'm not sure I said that right, but yeah, also just pretend that's not there. There you go. Stunning cover, very cool picture with the snow and the tops of the trees. So, I also an unconventional beauty, but I picked up a little book in an antique store on a whim because I thought it looked cool. So this was a cover buy as well, but it's just this little thing. It's Lottie and Julia, doesn't even have an author on it. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's from what year? Let's see. It's got some pretty cool old-timey illustrations on the inside. Yeah, I know nothing about this. I just thought it looked cool and was in an antique shop. But yeah, it looks like it's like part of a subscription series, probably to help kids learn how to read, because I think it's very like middle grade level reading. And then on the back, it talks about subscribing for only $2 a year. So yeah, just you know, she's an unconventional beauty. She's an antique. So just wanted to show you that. And the final question of this tag is, what do you still need to read before the end of the year? And for me, if I could just finish some of the massive books that I'm in the middle of, I would be happy. And then anything else I read is just a cherry on top. But the things I'm in the middle of, I already talked about rereading the Stormlight Archives. If that happens this year, I will just be thrilled. That will be a success, a major success at this point. Also reading The Tale of Genji. I do have that nearby. If I finish The Tale of Genji this year, that will be a huge accomplishment. Like, just getting through this book will be a huge accomplishment. So yeah, if I could do those things, I'd be happy. And then I do want to participate in the Mistborn read along that Tiffany is hosting on her channel, and a few other people. And so I am re-listening to Mistborn Era 1, and then I want to continue on and read Mistborn Era 2 for the first time. That will be new to me. I don't know why. I could only find the third book. I have all of them, except I don't have the 11th Medal. So I don't know where the other two are, but this is the third book, so it's all I could find. I have to find my other two. But yeah, I would like to read Mistborn Era 2 for the first time this year. Yeah. And if that's all the rest of my year is, I will be happy. Stormlight, Genji, Mistborn. Yeah, lots of Sanderson. You know what my most read author is going to be by the end of the year. It's definitely going to be Sanderson. Based on rereads alone, my goodness. So yeah, that's the tag. We have reached the end. I would love to know how your reading year is going. Mine, it's been not bad. I'm not quite where I want to be. I wish I was a little more ahead. I've fallen a little behind on some goals, but honestly, I've read some good things. I've picked up some new favorites, and for someone who has a full-time job and a 2-year-old, not bad. Not bad. That I'm even reading at all is probably a success. So yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, bye-bye.